And some sad news, fresh off his win for Trending Gamer at the Video Game Awards, popular streamer DrDisrespect has announced he's going to be taking some time away from streaming to focus on family. He admitted in a video to being unfaithful to his wife and is going to step away from performing for a bit to focus on healing that. Ouch. And this came just, as the story said, just days after winning Trending Gamer. You guys think that
sucks because that's probably so much more exposure for him. Like people who hadn't heard of him now know who he is.
Possibly. I mean, he was already like really, really big. I think he was easily in the top 10
I've barely heard
Twitch.
of him, but I don't really follow other.
Right. But I mean, like as far as top streamers on Twitch go, I think that he is one of the biggest full stop on Twitch. But you're right. That would have given him a lot more exposure.
Yeah, because like now I know who he is, and I really didn't before, and I feel like now he's going to lose any possible momentum that he.
Well, I don't know, because I mean, he's dealing with this quote unquote in the right way instead of trying to hide it or do whatever it is. Is it going to affect him? It absolutely will. However, as you said, this also does give him more exposure, so this might also draw more people to check him out, quote unquote. And so long as they have no moral problem towards it, like maybe they're of the opinion, I just watch him for gaming anyway. No such thing as bad exposure.
Well, what is this one?
DrDisrespect is stepping away because of the unfaithfulness.
I think this is odd.
Odd?
Why?
Odd. Yeah, in 2017, like that someone would I don't like because I feel like shit.
Who cares about cheating anymore?
Who fucking cares about that shit?
Okay. Wait. Are you're saying that he cheated on his wife and instead of trying to fix the relationship, just be saying, "Fuck it, I'm going to stay streaming and fuck my relationship."
Yeah, I'm going to keep doing my goddamn job. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like that if that was part of what was taking away from his relationship with his wife, it's something that he would need to.
Yeah, he is married to her, by the way.
No. How old is he?
DrDisrespect.
Who cares?
Yeah. Anyone know? Any idea?
He looked like
top of my head, no.
I mean, from looking at him in the thing, he looked like he was at least 30-something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be.
Because that's what I would guess is that he's probably like in his late 20s, early 30s.
Well, the other thing you have to consider too is, first of all right. So yes, they're married, right? Now, if she found out and gave him an ultimatum, like we need to fix this in
35.
Yeah, so if
he is 35.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, older than all of us. So I mean, if she gave him an ultimatum, you need to fix this. He might want to step away for a while because if she decides to divorce him, I mean, what he does as DrDisrespect is a business, right?
Right.
So, in fact, we covered a story a while ago on a couple that divorced, and I think the
and she
the
tried
wife
to take half of the
might have actually gotten the stream domain or the stream title or something like that. Yeah, so it could be that. I don't know. I think it is weird the fact that it comes out right after the Trending Gamer. Like,
that's just weird timing.
Did it happen because of it? Like, did he sleep with someone and then? Hey, I'm famous now or whatever, or super famous, or is he feeling guilty? Did someone uncover something somewhere? I think just overall the whole thing is
anti-netal. I don't know, whatever the fuck your name is in the chat said the mistress was most likely threatening to expose him. That's possible as well.
I think that's probably the most probable solution.
I mean, here's like, I don't know. The reason why I say that it's like, why is this a big deal is because I sort of feel like, dude, I hear about more people who have open relationships and open marriages because they find the idea of monogamy complete and utter bullshit, as opposed to letting like a piece of infidelity or an indiscretion get in the way of a strong partnership. And
that's fair.
And that seems and that's less, and I'm not saying that needs to be the norm for everyone, and it explains a little bit. He's older, he's 35, which means that he doesn't quite have that because that's a much more millennial sort of attitude
definitely a millennial
towards relationships. Yeah, but I sort of feel like the more relationships I hear about these days, the more they're like, yeah, but I mean, just like fucking other people doesn't matter. It's just sex.
Right. And I think that what it probably comes down to is, like you said, since they're older, had they believed in that, then you're right. This probably wouldn't have made the news because there's nothing to threaten him with there or anything to feel guilty about.
Well, and I mean, to my own personal story, we were not married, but we spent 10 years together, but I had a relationship relationship that had to implode and sort of, root itself out of my life before I could continue, something like Limit Break Radio or come back to do this project too. So, I feel bad for Dr. Disrespect, but I also think that it may be a mistake to stop his momentum.
That might be fair. Okay, I get that.
I mean, because, we never got to the heights that Disrespect is at. And I think that that's maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Well, I mean, plus when
PUBG is not, and the thing is that he does the exact same thing that we did with Limit Break Radio, and knowingly the second time, but attaching yourself to a specific game like that can get really, really tough, because that window is a very, very tight window, and jumping to another game or another property doesn't always work. It doesn't always translate. So hopefully he doesn't stay away from it too long. But honestly, dude, if I were him, and obviously I don't know his wife, I don't know their relationship, but I'd go with the opportunity. And
and personally, like, for the people who are, us plebs who have like normal jobs, like, you can't really take time away because you're unfaithful. If you do that, then you don't get paid, and now you're out of a job and you're out of a house and you're homeless.
Right. Yeah. That's sort of like, dude, that's sort of like when my 10-year relationship was imploding, I was still working part-time.
Yeah.
And it was like, there was one day where I called in and I was like, it's a mental health day. I need to take a breather. If I had taken 5 of them,
Like
10 of them,
just like a week.
if I had taken a week off, I would have been fired.
Yeah.
Straight up, I would have been fired. And maybe Disrespect feels like he's got a different relationship with his audience than everyone else does. But here's the thing, is that PewDiePie thought he had a different relationship with his audience too. I'm sure that even our own friends Joe and Mr. Happy thought that they had different relationships with their audience than they do, and they're finding out that, like, oh, well, there are some people who only are interested in us if we're talking about FF14, which we already knew. We knew that from the first time we did Limit Break Radio, where we tried to branch out into doing other things, and we found out very quickly. In fact, Refresh was this learning lesson for me.
Well, I mean, even if you
that
look
people
at
only wanted to listen to me talking about Final Fantasy for some reason.
Well, I mean, even if you look at the viewer count between FEC and LBR, there's a lot of people who watch both, but there is also a drop off.
It's a large drop off.
Yeah, big time, and You can't ignore that, like, especially, and I do, like, eventually we're going to have to talk about the growing problem with Twitch, because there is a growing problem with Twitch, and it's not with the site or the way that the site manages its business, it's with the talent and the streamers. And this will kind of actually roll a little bit into the net neutrality discussion that we're about to have. But there is this sort of impending bubble burst that's going to happen around Twitch, where people who were planning on, having the same income year over year are finding that their income is shrinking because they're doing the same things. And this is, we saw the same thing around a lot of YouTube creators too, where they were like, oh, well, and they blamed it on the algorithm. And I'm sure that Twitch streamers, it's the same way that Twitch streamers blame the democratization of the things like the subscribe button and the bits and all of these things. They're watching their bottom line shrink, and instead of going, well, maybe the problem is with me, they're going, well, Twitch is ruining it because now everyone can subscribe to every channel that they want, so it hurts my sub count. Man, whine. But the thing is that, like, that really is incumbent on you as a creative person to have to address. Dude, shit changes about industry all the time, especially if you're a creative person. You've got to change and adapt to shit all the time, whether it's new technology, whether it's new distribution methods, whatever the fuck it is.
Whether it's incumbent on you. Yeah.
It's incumbent on you to be able to figure that out. And I'm sorry, but I have way less sympathy for content creators than I do audience members, right? That's why that's why I didn't know how to feel about the Patreon thing, is because I recognized how much of an increased burden that put on the audience members that were going to go out and support things that they love. But at the same time, the complaints and the rallying that I heard from fellow Patreon members was just the same bullshit that YouTube creators threw out there when they were complaining about algorithms. It's just the same entitled nonsense. And the thing is that, you know, we're always prepared as an organization, as a group of creative people, to move off of what makes us feel comfortable. If the Patreon thing had really exploded and people were really not willing to use Patreon, we would have moved off of it and we would have found another way to continue doing what we're doing.
Adapt.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, there's a lot of that going around right now where people are blaming the mediums that they're choosing, and well, first of all, they're locking themselves down to a medium, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Twitch, whatever it is, and then not understanding what their value or what their relationship to the medium actually is, or what kind of power they have to be able to decide to be a part of it or just take your money and walk away.
It's very important as a content creator to ask yourself, if X were to go, could I still do what I do? And if the answer is no, I can't, you need to figure out how to fill that hole.
That's true. But anyway, to get back to the point, I hope Dr. Disrespect figures this shit out quickly. You know, I do understand. See, and the fact that he's married, you're right. That does add a very complicated loop into the chain, because yeah, if she's going to try to come after the channel or take the channel down, because here's the thing, in my 10-year relationship, if I had married her, that's the first thing that she would have come after,
because she knows what it means to
is
you.
Is the Limit Break Radio brand name. That's the first thing that she would have come after, is my you know, my ownership of that, or my partial ownership of that. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a scary thought. That is a super scary thought.
Dude, and listen, let that be a lesson to any of those unmarried out there.
Don't get married.
Just fucking know who you're marrying. Like, you know, that's why, dude, that's why I end up looking at relationships like, oh, we've been together for 6 months and now we're going to get married. No. Like, be together for like 10 years first.
Yeah, I was with him for like 6 years before we got married.
Yeah.
Although technically in Michigan, like after 7 years, aren't you legally considered
common law? It's common law.
Yeah. Thank you.
What?
It's a common law marriage. So you get some of the tax benefits, I believe, of a marriage without any of the legal liability.
Oh.
And I think if the dude leaves the woman, then she has like some right to take some of his stuff anyway after 7 years.
Oh, really?
Not like I don't think it's 50%, but I think she does have some legal bounds to come after you.
Interesting.
Chris has looked into this.
I mean, I have had one of those relationships and broke up right at 6 years.
Oh.
To be fair, you probably didn't have a whole lot for her to take at that point anyway.
I was homeless, so no.
In the ongoing saga of Star...
I see, when my 10-year relationship ended, I had nothing. I had just rented a house that I couldn't afford. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, literally, I had, if she even came back at me now and was like, try to get 50% of what I had at the time that we broke up. What, you want half of a cat? What do you want? Fritz. What exactly do you want here? Do you want me to pay? Do you want the $75 that was half of what we had paid for the cat? Like, what the fuck actually do you want? I don't have it.
But you got stuff now.
I mean, I do now, but she can't come after me now. She can't come after what I have now. We broke up back in, what was that, 2011 or 12?
It was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
Thank God.
Yeah. So, way to put that out there on a podcast. Now